I'm very pleased to present you the CALIPER Charter, which is one of the main outputs of the CALIPER project, and is a tool that has been co-created with the CALIPER partners, and is in a way a response, represents a response to the increased, let's say, needs for fostering inclusiveness and gender equality in research innovation by the CALIPER project. It, in a way, emphasized how the internal change made through inclusive gender equality plans can be enhanced through collaborations and synergies with external stakeholders. In this way, it allows to have an impact that goes far beyond the institutional boundaries, in a way. As you have already listened in previous presentation and in the panels, especially regarding intersectoriality, the CALIPER project really focused in an intersectoral approach from its beginning with assessment, and then the design of the action and implementations of the GEPs actions. So partners really put a lot of efforts in creating synergies with the external ecosystems. So the CALIPER Charter represents like a final transformative initiative that has been launched by the CALIPER project in order, from one side, to ensure or to aim at a lasting, let's say, change in organizations that have, let's say, adopted the gender equality plan, but also outside organizations, so at the ecosystem level. But beyond this, the Charter wants to also create an advocacy movement at UN level that could act also as a sounding board for an intersectional and intersectoral gender equality in research and innovation in view of the upcoming EU Parliament election in 2024, and then the consequent new era policy agenda, and of course the forthcoming also Horizon Europe program. So within the CALIPER Charter, we, let's say, would like to engage a diverse group of stakeholders. First of all, of course, research organizations, but also educational institutions, public bodies, and also private research-oriented entities and policymakers, of course. But also, as we also did during the course of the project, it's also important for us to have on board civil society organizations which play, in our opinion, a really, let's say, important role in research and innovation. So about the structure of the Charter, it's composed in, let's say, 4 main elements. We have the 3 key sets of principles and values that on which the Charter is grounded, and related commitments to action. So the Charter is very also practical, with example on how to concretely, let's say, put in place the principles and the values that are included. Then there are step-by-step guidelines on how to endorse, disseminate, but also concretely implement the Charter. There will be, not yet, but will be an in-progress list of signatures, because we just started to disseminate it. And then, as, let's say, last chapter, key facts and figures related to intersectionality in a research innovation ecosystem and EU policies. So about the 3, let's say, key principles and values which represent the core of the Charter. So first of all, we have driving inclusive gender equality in research and innovation through linking institutional and ecosystem change. So with this principle, we want to acknowledge that the complexity of the interconnection within the R&I ecosystem need to be acknowledged, need to be taken into account when we plan for the change, basically. Also because similar inequalities are experienced, are shared by different institutions in the same territory. So there is really a need, and it's very important to create synergies and collaboration among institutions in the same territories. The second principle is about redefining innovation, bridging social and tech realms toward inclusiveness. Here, basically, we believe that the changes and the new paradigms that are featuring innovation need to be steered and monitored in order to not reproduce or exacerbate inequalities, of course. We need to advocate for an innovation that is like a bit broader and that also needs to take into account social economics, welfare, and creative industries as essential drivers for innovation. The third and last key principle is about inclusive, safe, and gender-based, violence-free work and study environments in RRI ecosystems, which also, from what we learned from the UNICEF conference, is really very much important still, of course, to have gender-based violence-free environments. And here we claim for a more diverse R&I environment through also the recognition of socio-economic inequalities and the prevention of discriminatory behaviors. But let's go a little bit more practical. So why to endorse the charter? So basically, people, individuals and institutions should endorse it to create a more gender equal and inclusive R&I ecosystem, and also to promote change, to promote transformation towards gender equality inclusiveness. It's very easy to do that. So you just need to access the CALIPER Charter page, and I will show you later on a QR code that you can use right away to access it. There is a very simple form that you can fill in, and signatures are not binding, not legally binding, of course, and you can endorse it as individual or as institution on behalf of your institution. And we have set a deadline since we are approaching the end of the project, as you know. That is actually the end of January 2024. We have just started disseminating the charter. We have collected around 30 signatures so far. But we have just started, so we really aim to have a great number of signatories, also from you, hopefully. As I anticipated before, the charter also contains some guidelines on how to disseminate and promote the CALIPER Charter. Of course, we ask to spread the word, so communicate through also your channels about the charter, to be an ambassador, meaning that to communicate to others that you have endorsed it. And also there is let's say a form within the CALIPER website in which you can share your own practices, successful practices, stories on collaboration on R&I, basically. And then another guideline is about how to concretely implement the charter, basically commitments that are included in the charters. We suggest to start for your own existing networks to map your, let's say, stakeholders, your collaborations, to choose allies on how to, with which to start with, let's say, planning some actions, to use a creative approach in order to define the action to be implemented, to have a double focus both internally and externally, and of course to try to make the actions, the collaborative actions, sustainable, ensuring, let's say, financial resources for a long-lasting change. Before concluding, I show you this final slide with the QR code that you can use straight away if you would like to have a look to the charter and sign for it. Again, thank you for your attention.